So pushing on with the Mark II for summer, now it's time to turn our attention to the rest of the boot build. This is something that's bugged me for a long time with this car. It came out of another car, it looks like it came out of another car, and to be honest with you, lying up in a damp shed for a few years before this, it has taken its toll on it. So I think it's time, rip it out, we'll start from scratch, but before that we need to plan what we're doing. So let's take a look and see what we are up to. And before that, well, you might be thinking this is the boring part, we're going to actually have to plan everything out. Honestly, it's the reality of building cars. And also I have a little part here so we can fit this towards the end and get another win for the rest of you guys watching along. So here we go, let's see what we're dealing with. This, believe it or not, is the better looking side of it. Down below is even 10 times worse. It's safe enough. I rewired last summer, but it's not anyway tidy in the slightest. So I think with some actual planning we can get a safe, tidy and really nice install. We're going to sprinkle a little bit of love on it. We're going to do some audio as well, which is something I've wanted to do for a very long time and haven't done in a long time. It's getting everything to fit is the problem, but here, we'll rip it out and see how it goes. With everything ripped out, now we can have a look and see what room we have to play with. So it's a 90s hatchback, like it isn't a huge amount of room, but it does look a lot deeper than I've pulled the false floor out. So here we go. So we have where the spare wheel well is. Annoyingly, it's not centered, so that kind of throws me off a little bit for what I want to do. I'm going to have to put the fuel pump plate back on over here. I do have the water bottle for the washer jets in the boot, which I do want to retain, but that's probably going to have to move for what we want to do. So while we did tear this pile out, as you've seen, I think we should tear it down to the basic components and the bare minimum of what we need. So let's do that. With everything broke down now into the key components and getting rid of the scrap and stuff like that we don't actually need, it's not too bad. Like, as I say, there's not much room in a 90s hatchback, but we'll see what we're dealing with. The battery's the big killer here. So the tank, I've extended with cardboard because this is roughly the size of the seamless tank that I want. As I say, the filler plate will go back over for the fuel pump. We have the valve block, compressor, the battery, and the management for the air ride itself. So as you can see, everything fits in. It's trying to make it look nice is the thing. So kind of what I've come up with, I would like to do, if we forget about the battery for now, build a box somewhere in here with a display window for the valve block, hard lines coming off it, polished, looking nice. My options are, if I can get the compressor down low on the valve line, this will be floating on the valve, or the lines out over the top of the compressor. If that won't work because of the shape of everything and because this battery is here, I will take the compressor, put it here and hide it, because this will all have a false floor, and then the tank will be sort of either half sunk or I might just ramp up over it. All seems pretty normal until you learn that I want to put a sub in this in here. And working with the options we have this behemoth 13-inch focal, which is just too big. I've wanted to run this for years and I can't. We have a 10-inch focal, which would be a nice addition. I love focal gears, you can tell. And then I had this little Alpine active sub in my daily driver in the Bora. And for something so small, there was a right kick out of it. Like, it did do the job, and I don't want this to be an out-and-out bass car. Like, I like my sound quality. So this would be ideal, probably, but then I'm working with an active sub, and does that work? Let me know if anybody's into this sort of thing. Can I rebox this and be fine? My other option is go with a focal, but then this focal will have to live, if you can see how I'm going to go, in here basically. So with that in there, I then have to find space for an amplifier for it. And then the other thing is, to make the enclosure, this is going to have to sit flush down. Then I think I'll have to close this in, basically to make it symmetrical. I think it's going to work, but I think this is going to be a trust the process part, both for you watching this and for me, because sometimes you just have to give it a go and see what happens. I could make this and it goes well. I could make this and it goes very wrong, and have to go back to the drawing board. It wouldn't be the first time I've done that. Now, I have got a fiberglass kit and I'm going to start. I think the problem is with the height of the sub, and as you can see here, this will dictate how. So basically, I have a false floor, and the depth of the sub this way will dictate how high the false floor come up, which dictates what goes underneath it. The other thing is the battery has been lying in here, as you can see, and moving around and shit. Not good. A friend of mine, Stefan, has a battery tray from a T5 transporter, I believe. So it's like a leisure battery that's under the seat of those, and you can buy them for buttons. So I think I'll just going to weld that into the spare wheel well, and whatever orientation works best, and I'll have a proper tie down point. The other thing I thought about was like a motorsports lithium battery, but kind of worries me, one, with the sound system, and two, I've read that you can't jump start them off another car. You have to have like a lithium jump pack and then charge them in a special way and things like that. And I'm like, do you know what, that just sounds impractical. Like if this car stops and I'm in England at a show and I have to jump start it, I think a standard battery is the way to go. Even a normal like auto glass mat battery, like a motorsports type one, I don't want to build anything to suit a particular size battery and then find out that it doesn't do my job. So I think I'll stick with the standard car battery as best I can. Try and get the biggest cold cranking amps for the smallest size. I like to keep over 500 or so just for the VR and go from there. So yeah, that's where the boot build is at the minute. So I did say we would get a win on this. So let's go see what parts we have. Now, this horn has been bugging me for years. It has never worked correctly from I got the wheel. That's just something I put up with, and then I recently discovered that you can get replacement horns. Now, they are fake. The guy who sells them sells totally fake wheels from top to bottom, but the horn itself, the mechanism, works for me. So I'm going to transfer this original badge, as we can see here, which always bugged me because it should sit kind of flush and it sits away in. The back of it is broken. It's pretty good condition considering this wheel is like 35 years old or whatever, but we'll get this wheel taken off now and see what we can get done. It is wonderful what you will put up with for years, despite the fact that it seems to annoy you so much. You just kind of get used to things the way they are. This is my original, and this is the replica horn, and I think if you can see it here, it's slightly different. It is close enough, but I mean, if you don't have the actual horn button, that's good enough, but if you have the original thing, that's the better option. So I need to transfer this onto the back end for the other one and see how it goes. So we'll get this boss off now. What I have noticed as well is, this is going to be a bit of an issue, but we can solve it with, once again, new parts. This horn attachment here, if you can see it, should rub against the back of the boss here, but because this is for an airbag car, which originally came out of my Polo, I think it was, I don't have an airbag in a Mark II, obviously, so this is different and doesn't touch. There should be a clock spring in the back of this for a more modern car. So I'm gonna have to buy a hub. Yeah, so look, we may as well fit this anyway and make sure everything else works before we go any further, because we could be back in square one again anyway. But once we get the actual hub, it'll be quite easy to wire up. 2 wires will go to it. It's all good again. So let's figure this out. Now, of course, like all good things these days, there's no instructions with this, so let's work it out. Now, from what I can see, the horn mechanism itself drops in here, and this ring goes on, sandwiches it down tight, and then everything bolts onto the hub here. So it's still not tight. It's loose here. And I think this ring is catching up here. And I don't know if it's because it's a replica or it's because this wheel has been retrimmed. I don't know, but I'm just gonna have to take a little bit off this with the grinder. So let me do that and come back and see where we're at. We had to take quite a bit off along here, as you can see. Now we can mist this in with some satin black, and to be honest, it'll never be seen where it is, but just for my own peace of mind, it's nice to have it. Plus it also came, I won't say damaged, but the markings on the finish, so you will see that in behind this part. So I'll hit the whole thing with satin black. The reason that that's important, that this sits down tight on the wheel and isn't held up along here, and if you get one of these yourself, you might find that is an issue, is that when this horn goes on, it needs to be sandwiched down tight here so that the actual button locks in. So if it's not tight, instead of it twisting and locking in, this horn will just rotate. Worst case, you get it on, then it won't come back off, and then you have to break it to get it off, which you don't want to be breaking this because this is incredibly rare. So now that that's trimmed, we'll see how we can go about this. This is broken on the back side, so I'm going to have to remove this, stick this onto it, and then fit this. But oh, we might. Oh well, we actually have a stroke of luck. Turns out this bit that's broken is part of this, and not this. So this, with any luck, will just go straight onto the horn. Ah. Well, I mean, we might have the wrong boss, but we got a win there, so that's good. Jesus, I needed that at the moment. Well, that's good. That's one less thing to worry about. So that's the broken bit. We can get rid of that. We need to assemble this. We also don't need that. So pop the horn in. The horn ring with our now buffed end to the top. And I've actually just noticed that I need to do this in the car. So normally you would assemble the wheel, put this on with the nut, and then put the horn ring on. Because the horn ring is going on now, we need to do it in the car. Do I do that? Well, there's no point because I need to get the new boss. So I'll just show you guys how to assemble it and how it works. So we're doing this on the fly, as you can see. Line that up. Take our bolts that are supplied to us. It's hard to believe this is 12 years in the making. Maybe more, maybe 14 years. While I'm never usually a fan of replica parts, sometimes they can come in handy like this. I'm just really glad that I get to use my original horn button, which is nice. And I'm also glad I don't have to glue it on, because I was kind of worried that it would slip off or break off or just not work in general. Take the horn button, pop it on the tabs, give it a twist. And that's it, locked in. And your horn goes toot toot whenever it's actually wired up and you have the right boss. So yeah, that's pretty much it. In fact, we'll do a little test fit and see what it looks like in the car. So now that it's in, this is what it's going to look like. So this sits a lot more flush, which is nice. Toot toot, like I say, once we get the boss done, we'll get that sorted. And now this doesn't hit me in the chest when I accelerate hard, which is quite good. I love that wheel. I keep going on about it in the videos, but it's so nice. It just really suits the car, even just... We'll wrap this one up. Bit of a strange episode, and it is kind of the thing of building cars. Sometimes you just need to sit back and see what I need to do here and plan it out, and sometimes things work out and sometimes they don't. On the next episode, you're either going to see me do something I haven't done in 20 years and try not to wreck the interior of this car, or I'm going to do something that I have never done before and try incorporate a little bit of 3D printing and stuff into that. So either way, it should be an interesting journey. Once again, if you like what you're seeing, hit like, subscribe, leave me a comment, anything you can to support the channel and get it boosted a little bit. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers, folks. Bye bye.